Tim Sykes here, going over this crazy month. I'm literally looking at my laptop like what month this is. I don't even know anymore. We're recapping February 2024, one of the most insane months of the past few years. Definitely my best trading month in the past few years. I've also been trading overseas the entire month. I'm filming this. I'm here in Austin, Texas. This is the first day I'm back in the US, the last day of the month. The entire month I was in Bali, Japan, Thailand, Philippines. We have charity projects everywhere, and I did a cool little food tour in Japan with some top traders. Not an ideal month to be on the opposite side of the world. A lot of this stuff was planned a while ago. I didn't know that February 2024 was going to be so hot, but here we are. And I'm going to do a recap on screen, but this is so that you can see, I don't know, I guess, like you see that I'm real. I'm going to rub my eyes because I'm tired, really tired. I'm filming this around like 6 p.m. I have a coffee just to stay awake because, again, I'm on Asian time. So not ideal. I don't recommend in a hot market to go to places that are 13, 14 hours ahead of New York. Not ideal. Leave a comment below. I'm curious to see what you think. How did you do in February 2024? Let me know in the comments below. All right, guys, so much going on. Video recap for February 2024. I think it's always good to recap your good trades, your bad trades, the market, get very introspective. Can you do better? Did you do poorly? Are you happy? Can you be happier? Everything is on the table. It's not just about money. I know a lot of people who make more money than me. They're infinitely less energetic and more depressed because all they have in life is their money, which is sad. I've got a lot going on. I'm actually filming this too with a camera so that you can see it later. I spent the entire month in Asian countries, Thailand, Philippines, Bali, and Japan. Charity projects, food tour. Not an ideal time to be trading, but my best trading month in years. I'm now up 54 grand roughly year to date, but just for February, just to keep this, relatively on track and organized, made roughly 42 grand for the month, which is awesome. That's nearly quadruple what I made in January. This is the beauty of trading. It's not like a bi-weekly or bi-monthly paycheck. It's going to vary up and down greatly. You just have to be prepared for hot markets because you can't control when the next hot market is going to be or when the market's going to get cold. All you can do is control your preparation. That's why I make videos like this. Again, 42,000, very nice, not ideal at all because I've been trading from countries where I'm 12, 13, 14 hours ahead of time. So I'm pulling all-nighters, which is not great for trading. I actually do trade better when I'm traveling, but not in Asia. I prefer trading in Europe, and I'll be in Europe in a little bit. The US stock market is open from 3 to 10 p.m. Much better than 10 or 11 p.m. till 5 or 6 in the morning, which is what I've been dealing with. First, I want to start with just congratulating so many students. Or it was a record month for different students. I mean, this just happened literally a few minutes ago. Don Juan in the challenge chat room, he just surpassed 300,000. Everyone, please congratulate Don Juan. He's also great in the chat room, alerting so many plays. But he's over 300,000. And again, I have roughly 36 millionaire students now. There's going to be more. It takes a while to make 7 or 8 figures. Don Juan, is getting up there. I think he made like 10 grand. Or 5 grand on the week. So it's just about waiting for really hot markets and being ready. Also, I got to congratulate Jack Kellogg. I just posted this on my YouTube channel. I'll link it. This is his challenge webinar that he gave last week. And he laid out how he thought SOUN would be such a good trade. Just check this out. It's an hour-long video, but listen to a little of it.
And went all the way almost to 800 now. And I think there is a major trade looming right now, which is SOUN. This was a 4.
So literally he says, this is a major trade looming. It doesn't get any clearer than that. and this is when the stock was in the threes. 3 trading days later, it was in the sevens. To be fair, I was ripping on him for this, not because I disagreed with, this stock, but because he takes massive size. And when he was talking about it, the stock wasn't really moving. A lot of students were like, oh, SOUN, SOUN. And I was like, who cares about this stock? It's not moving. On the day that he was talking about SOUN, AXTI was a big winner. EZFL was a big winner. There were better plays that day. But again, bigger traders, they have to prepare ahead of time because they have to size in. It's not easy necessarily to take big positions on fast moving stocks. So, this is apples to oranges. I know a lot of you guys want to trade like Tim Grittani and like Jack Kellogg, but you have a small account. You don't have to put your money into a stock that's not moving because you don't have a big account. This is a big problem I have with like CNBC and a lot of like the financial media. They make you think that you need to position ahead of time. You don't. You're not running a multi-million-dollar account. You're not running a big hedge fund or a mutual fund. There's actually huge advantages trading small. If you look at the way that I'm trading, the 42,000, I'm in and out very quickly, wins and losses. But you can use your small account size to your advantage. Of course, most people with small accounts don't really have the know-how or the knowledge, so they can't use it to their advantage. They just want to trade big. But trust me, you can. Anyways, watch this entire hour-long webinar from Jack Kellogg. Challenge students, you've already had access to it. Most challenge students don't even watch Jack Kellogg's webinars or my webinars or Tim Grittani's webinars. It's sad. I put this one on my YouTube channel so no one has any excuse, and you can see how he laid it out. I still stand by the fact that I don't think this was a good stock for people with small accounts when Jack Kellogg was talking about it. It really only popped, 2 trading days later. You can get in when it's moving, when it was breaking out in the 4s. It went all the way to the 7s. You don't have to get in right at the beginning of any move. But you can watch this entire video lesson. Sorry, I got stocks to trade open too. I'm watching stocks galore. I also want to show you this video before I get into my own trades. This was a video I had Matt Monaco do. Matt Monaco is one of my millionaire students. If you remember, we did the 30-day boot camp together. Every single one of you should have watched it. I'll post a link to the 30-day boot camp below because we actually just filmed a follow-up to the boot camp, and I want you watching the follow-up, but if you didn't watch the initial one, you're not going to understand the follow-up. So Matt Monaco, one of my millionaire students, when we did the boot camp together a few years ago, 4 years ago, he was at 50 grand. Now he's over 2 million. Pretty amazing. But I wanted to show you this analogy because I call this a warm butter market. It's like cutting through warm butter.
Monaco here. The stock market is like a stick of butter. When it's cold, like last year, 2022, 2023, it's hard to cut through, all right? But this year, 2024, it's a warm butter market. Stocks are just cutting through prices. Let me show you here.
It's true.
You gotta warm the butter up a little bit, but the stock market, as it's hit new all-time highs. And once we do that, you'll see it's warm butter. We just cut through all of those prices. Stay tuned for some more tips.
He should have given it a few more seconds. It doesn't look that easy to cut through. But I hope you understand the analogy because this is a warm butter market and plays are going crazy. Sorry, also, I have other videos. This is the power of love. I didn't mean for this to pop up, but whatever. This is a dog that was actually rescued. And I'm a big fan of my charity. This month was a big month for my charity. We just surpassed $10 million in donations. This is my trading profits. We also have charity merch and we do some fundraisers. But I'm very proud to donate 100% of my trading profits. If you understand this $42,000 that I made this month, this is going to go to building a new school. School is roughly $30,000. A new school goes very far in a lot of the countries that we work in. We have projects now in 32 countries. So it's going to go for a school and then also There's a new charity that I just found, which is an anti-trafficking charity, which is very close to my heart. And it's just sad how so many kids get abused. So I'm proud to donate 100% of these trading profits because I want you to understand that this is about the process. So let's go over some of my best trades, best and worst trades. We'll start with that. I think it's worth reviewing, going over everything. But one of the best trades I got on the month was BMR. And this was one of these crazy supernovas that, just kept going until it didn't, right? So like you do have to take profits sometimes. CYDY is a former supernova, and that's back in play. That just had a nice first green day today. So even former supernovas are coming back, which is pretty crazy. But BMR earlier this month was going supernova. And when you have these plays that are going supernova, you gotta try to capitalize. You gotta try to ride them up, but at the same time recognize they're gonna come down. You can see here, it's down quite a bit. This is just the past 15 days. So the intraday chart isn't gonna work. But this was this day when it was spiking big from the ones and it went all the way up to the 30s. Let me just help you understand the scale here. This is insane, okay? And I didn't time it great. I actually missed a lot of the morning spike, but I was like, I don't need to chase. And then when it crashed from the 30s down to the teens, I got in and I made roughly $4 a share, which is awesome. You don't see me make $4 a share very much. And this was a lot of my trades. CHNR, this was another intra-month supernova. And this was crazy because I literally had like no sleep that night. And I'm like, just a zombie trading this thing. I was actually at dinner with, we had all the boys. It was like a trader tour. Alex Sposito, who's actually a former challenge student, which is crazy. He's now made millions. And I was talking about how at dinner, because again, the stock market opens at 11:30 at night in Japan right now. So we're at dinner around 8 p.m. CHNR was spiking pre-market from like the ones to the threes. And I was like, watch CHNR, Alex. And he doesn't trade penny stocks anymore. He's moved on. But it was pretty cool to see that this one, really spiked big. And I got it in the fours and I sold it in the sevens. This was beautiful. Usually I don't hold for $3 a share. This was halted. I got fortunate where I'm buying this stock that's going to get halted. And when it gets halted, it can just kind of skip on air. DTSS was also going supernova back when this happened. Really like mid-February, right when I was in Japan, worst time zone ever. And we're on like a food tour, eating too much, not an ideal time to get no sleep. But all of these, like the same kind of thing with INBS, this was another giant supernova. And I was buying it, not like anything great, but I was buying it in the threes, selling it in the fours. TOP was another supernova. Usually when these supernovas happen, they come in bunches. And I might miss one or two or even three, but I'm just trying to get a piece of the pie on whatever I can. HOLO was the craziest supernova. This is what really, blasted off and what created so many follow-up supernovas. When one play really goes up so much, and HOLO ended up actually going from 2 to 100, which was crazy. Other plays can start spiking. A rising tide lifts all boats. And I actually did a pre-market video on HOLO saying this stock is such a joke that it's up in the twos. They had a press release that they joined some association. It's basically like me joining the, AAA, American Automobile Association. It was such a joke. Let's see what Holo's at. I don't even know. I know it came down a lot. I think it's in the single digits. Yep. So this was this day here on February 7th, which really started, all these supernovas. And in one day, it went basically from the ones to 20. And mind you, it didn't just go up gradually. It was basically 1 to 9 over the course of the day. After hours, it went from 9 to the 20s. I was already asleep after hours because that's, 4 p.m. Eastern is 6 a.m. Japan time. So I tried to stay up, but I usually passed out around 4 or 5 a.m. But it went to 20. Then it went to all the way to 40 the next day, which was crazy. Then it came back down. These are daily charts, daily candles. It comes down to the 14s, and then it really went supernova here to 100. Okay, so just amazing, amazing upside. And it's funny to me that I was buying it in the 2s and selling it in the 3s. And look how happy I was. Outstanding trade, hit my goals, nailed it to a T. And I was pumped. Like, you know, a $2,000 profit is big for me right now, where I start the year with a very small account. So, you know, this was like maybe my biggest win at the time. You know, making $2,000. I put in like $17,000 or $18,000. Hold on, let me get the exact amount just so you understand. 2.72. I was so happy with this trade. It's really funny given how far the stock went. Yeah, so 19,000. Look, I'm not good at math. There's proof right there. But I'm putting in less than 20,000, and you know, this is all pre-market. This is all in 20 minutes. I wish someone had, like, you know, knocked me out. I wish I had some like crazy Japanese food that would like just make me go unconscious for like a week. Because if I had 7,000 shares here, you know, this was on February 7th, right here. And imagine if I had woken up from some hypothetical coma on like the 16th and the stock is trading at 100, you know, that would be nice. 7,000 shares times, I think I get to, what was the high? Like 98? 99? So it would have been like 693,000. You know, no one's going to time things perfectly like that. And this is the best supernova that we've seen in years. But this is what can happen. And this is why I don't short sell right now. This is why I warn against short selling. It was kind of funny being on this trip in Japan with a bunch of traders who were primarily short biased. And they were very stressed. Not with HOLO. They were mostly stressed about SMCI. They were shorting this one. SMCI is a new earnings winner. It's a new AI play. And this thing, earnings winners are in, right? This was the earnings win right here on January 19th. It went from the 300s to basically 400, which was a big move at the time. And then it just kept going all the way up to 1,000. And this was really like peak madness, where in 3 days it went from like 750 to like 1050. And then it came down. This is following the 7-step framework, right? Like you can say that this is a 1, 2, 3 run up, a 4 crash, number 5 dip buy, number 6 short sell if you want. It's pretty crazy, but that's what's happening in this market. You're just trying to take advantage of whatever's hot. And again, I'll warn everybody against short selling because I think it's so risky. But this was my HOLO trade. I also banked on BMR. AXTI was a nice earnings winner for me. This was actually in my Supernova Alerts newsletter. And I was happy to hold this one over the weekend, overnight. I have different newsletters. Most of my newsletters are intraday. When I see a good supernova, you know, I'll hold it. And this one, you know, nothing huge, but again, a nice little 15% profit basically over a holiday weekend. And I frankly should have held it a little more. It actually got up to the 5s. But, you know, again, I'm not trying to time things perfectly. I'm just trying to take the meat of the move. DTSS was another supernova. The whole list of supernovas, that's really what it comes down to. Like if you're doing well in February and you're like, wow, Tim, I'm really getting it. You might be really getting it, but there's also just so many plays. You know, it's a rising tide lifts all boats. And it's amazing how much easier trading can be when there's so many plays. So I'm proud of everybody who, you know, quote, gets it. But at the same time, it's the market. And if you're not getting it, the market is there, but maybe you didn't prepare enough. Maybe you haven't studied the past enough. I mean, that's on you, right? Like you can't control the market. All you can do is control your preparation. And for me, a big part of why this was such a record-breaking month for me was because I've been preparing for this. And I know these patterns inside and out. And even in my very non-ideal trading environment in Asia, while I'm like eating a ton of food. Japan has the best food, but also in Bali, in the Philippines, and in Thailand, we have charity projects. So I'm either eating or doing charity during the day and trading at night. So not ideal. In hindsight, I probably should have just, canceled all the trips and done them like later on. But, the charity projects, this has been months of work. And then the food tour was planned actually a year ago because a lot of the restaurants in Japan are near impossible to get into. So, you take what you can. And for me, I'm not whining about my circumstances. I'm grateful for the opportunity. I just want you to understand that you can still do this even while being busy. I get a lot of people with excuses, my family, my job, whatever. None of you, nobody is as busy as me. None of you. Not one person watching this is as busy as me. So what you can make an excuse about, or what you should make an excuse about, is that you're unprepared. You haven't studied enough. You don't know about, these giant supernovas. Maybe you're shorting. Maybe you're in like a toxic Discord chat room where they're all narrow-minded and they're short biased. These stocks do come down, mind you, but at the same time, they go up quicker. And if you're unprepared, if you're untrained in short selling, it's very, very dangerous and stressful. That said, let's go over some of my losses. It's not just about my wins. I want you to understand, like, I'm not hiding, the bad. How do I do this? Let's see. Can I sort by worst? I don't even know. Let's see if this works. I click it. Is it going to load? Maybe I'll just go to the end. I was trying to show like the worst trades first, but maybe I'll just go to like the last page. Hold on. Let me show you my losses. I'm not embarrassed by my losses. They're part of the game. I'm not embarrassed about the small gains. Sometimes I have small gains where like it just doesn't do what I want. Like MOTS, for example, this one. I said I wanted to give it to the open, but it's looking stuffy here as it failed. So if you look at some of my smaller gains and you're like, wow, Tim, like you're scalping. I don't always aim for small amounts, but oftentimes the stock doesn't do what I want. The biggest gains are when the stock does what I want or does better than what I want. The small gains are when something goes wrong, and you don't have to just wait for a loss to take it. If you're in a stock and it's not doing well, guess what? You can get out. Sometimes, like MARK, this was actually today as I'm filming this. This was beautiful. This was a former supernova. They did a deal with Microsoft, which was actually pretty good. And, if you remember MARK from, when they were a higher price stock, now they're all the way down in the lowly pink sheets. They're a terrible company. But if you remember how they used to trade, no matter what the news was, it would usually run up gradually all day. They would usually screw it up by doing a financing midday or after hours. They're a very scummy company. But very similar, this ran up very gradually all day. And it went from, the news came out when it was at 25 and it went all the way up to 40. So you theoretically could have made like 75% on your money. I was buying it at 27 and selling it at 33. Why? I had to go. Today was a crazy day. I've been trying to film video lessons. So I just got out because I was like, well, this is a solid run up. Like, my goal is to make 10 to 20%. I already hit my goals and I had a busy day. So sometimes the market will give you an opportunity. Everything's going right. I probably overthought this, being like, let me lock this in so I don't have to focus on it anymore. Probably coulda, woulda, shoulda given it more time. That happens sometimes too. So every trade, you're going to learn a little something, good or bad. But here are some of the losses. So the last page is going to be all losses. RVSN, this was the other day. It was disappointing. Got out with a small loss. VERO, this was, some of these plays have been great for pre-market runners. Sometimes not. A lot of the pre-market runners, especially at the end of the month, when the short squeezes weren't as much as mid-month, pre-market has been fading. Like the last week of February, I think pretty much every day, the pre-market runners failed. Today, the big pre-market runner was ENVB, which was crazy because it ran up and then it dropped and then it came back. And then I didn't even see it by the end of the day. Like once it starts fading, I'm not interested in it. But this was pre-market and it ran from basically like $1 to $2. Then it came all the way back down to like $1.50. This doesn't look like much, but I thought the stock was dead. And then it came back because a lot of over-aggressive short sellers started shorting too early and that created a great squeeze. Then it double topped and faded for the rest of the day. So this is a very common occurrence right now where this stock probably never deserved to go to the high twos, but because so many shorts were so against it in here, I saw a lot of shorts talking smack about it in the high ones and the low twos. Then it comes down to the mid ones and all the shorts are celebrating. They're licking their chops. They're all like, yeah, terrible company. I knew about this. And they got so aggressive and that created this squeeze from basically 10:20 in the morning. It's at trading in the 160s. And then here, 10:40, it's trading near 3. The stock nearly doubles. So some of you think you need to be early. Some of you think you need to know the news immediately. You don't. You know, the news was out here, pre-market, okay? It was like at 6:40 in the morning. The news is out. The stock is already up. It comes down. This is actually what I really look for, where when the stock comes down, it traps over aggressive short sellers. It lures them in, right? And that creates oftentimes what is the fastest and best spike. So that's, what happened with that one. I had a small profit on ENVB, nothing great. VERO tried that. It just didn't create a great short squeeze. Also, I had some losses on HOLO. FRGT was another pre-market runner that failed. This was, 2-3 trading days ago? And it ran up a lot pre-market, and it never trapped short sellers and never came back. You can see right here. Big spike with news, nothing at all. And it actually, the funny thing is the news came out when the stock was around $2.20. Now it's actually lower, despite winning, I think it was like a $5 million contract. So again, shorts aren't wrong with their thesis that these are terrible companies, that they're going to come down. What shorts are over aggressive. And short sellers, let me just remind everybody, they're under investigation. There's several investigations into how short sellers and short selling chat rooms work together. Very shady stuff. And I just think it's so risky. So I'll always say that. But shorts aren't wrong fundamentally. RVSN, this was a breaking news play. This was today. This was pre-market. And they had a meaningless, press release with NVIDIA, which is the hottest company in the world. They were joining their partner program. So I thought that it might turn into a hollow, HOLO type, giant short squeeze. And it just didn't. It spiked very fast, but it came down. And I bought some at 450. It was already up from the 3s. I think it did hit the 5, so there was an opportunity for me to sell, but it was so quick. It started to come down. I thought, okay, let me try to ride it. I bought it even lower at 390. Some people say, like, why do you cut losses on some of them? Why do you add to others? I thought that this was really going to be a good supernova. Again, they had a press release with NVIDIA, and it was a meaningless press release, which normally meaningless press releases are bad, but in my mind, this can create a giant short squeeze. RVSN is a former supernova. But you can see here the spike on the news from the 2s to the 5s. No follow-up whatsoever. So I'll add to this because I think that this, I still, wanted to give this time. I thought that this was a solid setup. It just really didn't work out that well. And the best thing I did was cut losses. And I know this is quick. Some people are like, wow, Tim, you're buying, you're adding, then you're cutting all inside of 10 minutes. Yes. This is the beauty of trading with a small account, okay? At first I had like 1,000 shares, then I added, but all told, it was 3,000 shares. You can get in and out very easily. If you're trading with 50,000 shares like Jack Kellogg and some of my other millionaire students, it's much harder. They don't take these kinds of trades because the slippage would be crazy. That's why I like trading with a small account. That's why I like teaching you guys. Many of you, most of you, have small accounts too. It's not a bad thing. So I lost $1,000. It sucked, but not the end of the world. And then this one, SOUN, I mean, this was a runner the past 2 days. This is what Jack Kellogg just made roughly. He ended up making close to $500,000. I'll go over that in another video, which is just crazy. But SOUN is really choppy. It's always been choppy. They just reported earnings. And this was crazy. I'm filming here with Pascal. Say hi, Pascal.
Hey, everybody.
And we're watching this thing. And, you know, this is just like literally today. It was crazy. It was running up. It was breaking out. Nice breakout here above the intraday range at 750. Goes up to 790. Some shorts are getting squeezed. Then it comes down. This is all before earnings are reported. Like earnings are reported. Where was it? Like right here. So you can't really see. I guess maybe I can type in the last 4 hours. This will get it. Yeah. So earnings were reported. It's all bunchy right here on this candle. So I'll remember this. So it breaks out past the day high, 750 up to like 770. If I was short, I would have covered. This is another reason why I don't short, because even if you're right eventually, it's so choppy. This is why short sellers look like Gandalf. Not Gandalf in the prequels, Gandalf the gray or Gandalf the white. It's breaking out, turns out to be a fake out, comes down. When it fails here, it goes from literally in like 2 minutes, it goes from 770 down to 660. Down $1 a share, back up to 730. Then it reports earnings right here. There's an immediate spike on earnings. It goes up to 760. And then again, 2 minutes later, down to 670. So you have two or three 1 minute candles where there's a range of $1 a share. Really difficult to trade. I don't know, I guess it's just up a lot and it's just choppy, but earnings, not a good reaction. Now it's fading and it's kind of like a bouncing ball. Some people say am I going to dip buy this? I don't like dip buying earnings losers. And also this is literally a bouncing ball. And usually each bounce gets lower and lower. Sorry again for people watching this video. I'm rubbing my eyes. I'm so tired right now. I'm going to go get some sleep actually, but I'm very proud of my month. Losses and gains alike. I kept my losses relatively good, only like, $1,000 a few times. And again, this is the beauty of trading. Okay. You look at my year to date. It's not like every day is the same amount. Some days I'm not even going to trade. I actually missed a day of trading the other day, and I'll do a separate video on that because I missed arguably the best trade of the entire month. Let me just bring that up real quick. VANI. I missed this. I was flying. Okay. I've been pulling all-nighters almost the entire month. In the one day that I miss, VANI, stocks and trade breaking news, alert of the news, right here, okay? VANI, right here. They have like this wannabe like Ozempic, which is like weight loss drug, and they claim that their data is better. 100% I would have bought it, okay? Ozempic is the hottest drug. If you look at Eli Lilly and Nordo, like these are two of the biggest, most successful companies in the world right now. This is a little baby Ozempic. Come on, you got to be buying this. And it pisses me off that I was flying, and it pisses me off even more that so many of you didn't take any of this run up from the 2s to the 7s. Had I been there, I wouldn't have taken it from the 2s to the 7s. At best, I'm buying in the 2s, selling in the 3s. That's it. That's all I would have done. I know myself. But that is almost as much of a gimme as you can get when you have the world's hottest drug, you have a penny stock, you have a month like February. Shame, shame, shame on you if you saw this and you didn't act. Shame on you if you don't have pre-market trading. Get it. Talk with your broker. Anybody can get it. You just have to set it up. Shame on you if you don't have stocks and trade breaking news. They're the ones who alerted it. Shame on you if you don't realize that when the market is hot, you got to be speculative. Shame on me for flying. Traveling again really helped me. It always helps me like trade less and not overtrade, but it really hurts me. So 54,000 year to date, that one probably would have been like a $5,000 or $7,000 trade, which would have been the best trade of the year for me. And I know it. I know I would have nailed it for just a little bit, for 50 cents, 75 cents, $1 a share, 5,000 shares. That's all it takes. But I wasn't there. I was flying and I missed it. And I'll do a separate video on that because I think it's worth it. But I'm still really happy with my month. You know, it's really been quite a while since I've had like a $40,000 month. You know, this is like nearly half of like my entire year of 2023. So some people also say like, wow, Tim, you're on fire. How are you doing it? If you go back through my video lessons over the past year, I haven't really been trading that great. We haven't had necessarily the hottest market, but also the best plays have been short squeezes. And short squeezes are not my ideal pattern to trade. It's one of my worst patterns, but I've been working at it. And I really encourage you to go back through my videos. If you think about it and you see my progression where I might be frustrated, but I keep at it. I might be losing, but I keep at it. You know, like if you look at my trades over the past, year, this is 1 year. I'm up 110,000. So literally, this is a good example where I just made roughly half a year in total profits in 1 month while I'm overseas, which is not ideal. Had I been in the US, I mean, you can't change the past, but it probably would have increased me maybe 50% because again, normally I have an overtrading problem, but in this month, overtrading is not a problem. Okay, it's lack of sleep, lack of like focus. I might have had a $100,000 profit on the month. I don't know, but all I know is that I'm doing well, I'm doing better, and that's what it's about. Like trading is not about perfection, it's about progress. And I did well. Very proud of my charity for surpassing 10 million. Very proud of Jack Kellogg for this webinar. I'll link this webinar. I think everyone should watch it. And congrats to him on his $400,000 week. Congrats to students like Don Juan. Might not be a millionaire yet, but $300,000 in total profits. That's a good start. I'll post links galore below. Click those links, study up. Let's make March 2024 the best month ever. Leave a comment. Let me know how you did. Let me know if you're progressing, even if you might not be perfect. So that is my, online video, and you'll see it. I'm trying to click it. Let me just make sure that this is saved because I share my screen and you can see it. You can see me here too. I don't know. I want to show you all different angles. I really am exhausted right now. I've been pounding coffee. It's almost 7 at night and I shouldn't be drinking coffee, but this is what I'm doing. I should be sleeping, but I'm making videos for you. Leave a comment below. Let me know if you like this video. How did you do in February? If you didn't do well, or even if you did well, how are you going to do better in March? Let's progress. Let's make March the best month ever. I'm going to keep saying it. Say it out loud. Shout it to your loved ones. Good luck.